Thanks, Dilip. Good. Always a pleasure chatting with you. Uh, Maybe let's go straight into it. There's been some bullish activity on Safaricom's counter on the stock market. And yesterday, it was briefly crossed about £1 trillion in market capitalization. In your view, what could be the key drivers, of this particular bullish activity and the investor confidence?
So, thank you, Eric, for having me here. I'll start with Safaricom strategy, the one which you have just concluded. 2025 was the last year of the last 5-year strategy, and the execution of strategy in the context of what came out in the financial results of last financial year. It was evident from the numbers, which just an outcome is our focus on how do we listen to customers and we solve customer issues, always able to innovate and provide new service and products, anchoring on our purpose of transforming lives. So the customer growth across all segments, you heard us talking about it when you release our results. It's just a reflection of the customer's trust in us. I mean, almost all customer KPIs last financial year, we have the best that we have seen in the last 4 to 5 years. So confirming that the board approved a strategy and management has delivered on the strategy. Also, Safaricom's 25 years, so it's also coming up. We just celebrated 18 years of M-PESA and a big celebration coming up for Safaricom 25. These are also key milestones in the way our founder have the vision to see what this company can do. I'm sure they would have been extremely proud of whatever we have done, some of the key milestones, including the 3 billion Kenyan shilling top line that we have reported in FY25. It's just a reflection of the vision that our founders have and which got carried on and improved further over the years. Now, we are very humble and we are very happy to see that some of this showing up in the investors' confidence as well. So, if you have customers, you have business. If you have business, investors look at you that you have business that you have delivered, and also you are thinking about the future. And you have also along the way got approval for the next 5-year strategy, which is 26 to 30. And we have also showcased that to our investors as part of that. We have demonstrated, or there is more confidence around Ethiopia's commercial execution. The medium-term outlook that we have provided in terms of customer acceleration, in terms of number of sites and population coverage, with the best mobile data network, is also coming to life in the way we've doubled our customer base, more than doubled our customer base. Most of the Ethiopian KPIs were actually better. And all of this, now investors are also looking at what we have given out as part of our FY26 guidance. If you come out of your FY25 strategy anchoring on transforming lives as a purpose, now your FY26 to 30 strategy is to become Africa's leading purpose-led technology company, which means a lot more solutions-driven top line coming in future, right? With that, the guidance actually what we have given to the market reflects what we are trying to achieve in the next 5 years, year one being FY26. I would say it's the trust of the customer and trust of the other stakeholders, the investors and the analyst community, what most probably reflects on what comes out as part of the share price and the share rally, price rally that you have seen.
Okay, good. Speaking of the investor community, I mean, a number of local investment banks and even foreign have issued, certain buy recommendations, which probably give an upside of up to 60-70%. And interestingly, when I was looking at the activity on the counter, it's ideally a lot of foreign investors, a lot of funds. In your view, do you think So two things. Do you think, because around 2022, when you guys had gone to Ethiopia, the share price had dipped. There was a bit of a concern in terms of the capex and the spend that's going towards that market. Do you think now they are more confident that your guidance for F year 2027, will bear fruit? Then will hit those particular targets, and that will be able to contribute significantly to the group revenue. Secondly, will you say that they are now happy with the new strategy that you guys that you guys have just started implementing?
I'll start with the strategy first. So, in February this year, in 2025, so typically once in a year we have investor forum. We call our analysts, both analysts and the investors, both domestic as well as foreign investors, to showcase. So this year theme was actually Vision 2030. That is what was there in February investor forum. What we have received feedback from them that they first of all they got to see what you're executing in the next 5 years, and within that, who are the people behind that? Then it's a deep interaction with the management. So this is a 2-day event wherein you actually go deeper into the individual areas of growth for the next 5 years. What are you doing, including the investment that or the focus that you're putting in big part of this big data and AI or capex investment. Where is it going? How are we digitizing the country in many ways that started the journey, and they're continuing to do that. So they get an opportunity to have deeper interactions, not only with the CEO and CFO, but also with the rest of the management team. Not only that, actually they get to interact and see even the talents under the chiefs on the management team. The feedback that we have received is that they were quite impressed with the depth of the management team and the focus that we have. Of course, this is strategy. The delivery is what you need to deliver, and that's FY26 guidance actually was the part of year one of what you are going to deliver. So that's one part. Second part, what you do, if you look at, this is my personal experience having worked in many countries and many companies before. Safaricom probably is one of the leading companies in the way we disclose our information to our investor analyst community. 2 ways, 3 ways actually. When you release our results, what we present, how we communicate, what we communicate, and we also what to tell them, what you can make us accountable. Second part is the documents, just the sheer disclosures that we give. There are not many companies who are able to do that. So we are always very transparent. So if share price took a dip in the past, I am not saying it's only for Ethiopia. It probably also because of some of the other macro factors. I think probably you are aware of the whole the emerging market and frontier market fund drying up. So obviously there's another part of it in macro environments. I think that part is also on the macro side. You see better macros than what it was before. So the disclosure, I think we have been very, very transparent. The third part is what we call the investor engagements. On the day of the results release, we have all analysts coming in. But we don't stop there. We do have actually deeper engagements with the investors one-on-one, what we call the roadshows that we do, non-deal roadshows. So we are actually in the middle of that. We are going through that, which allows them to have also get management time of how you're executing and ask more difficult questions for them to get during those interactions. So I think these 3 parts, if you look at the whole engagement, what you do, first of all, the day of the results release, the quality of the disclosures that we give, and third is the very, very structured investment engagements that we do. We provide clarity, right? Now, have we done it for the first time? No. I think Safaricom have been doing it forever. Yeah. So if there is something they picked up, probably one of the areas that probably I would say, because we explained our strategy very well, so they now start believing in that. Okay, FY25, the last 5-year strategy execution done well. Very good strategy for FY26 to FY30, and the broad elements of growth drivers are falling in place. There is pipeline for growth, and Ethiopia commercial momentum. The team is executing, and also the plan reflects that ambition in the FY26. I think I would consider that. I mean, it's not that you are telling this for the first time. As I said, it's not our, our job is to have the strategy, approved strategy by board, execute it well, tell the stories what you're executing, give visibility, transparency of what you're doing, and keep them informed of any changes that's happening in the business landscape. If you combine all of that, I would assume, see, as I said, it's not I cannot be talking on their behalf. I assume that probably all of these are falling place in a way that gives them more confidence. That's why probably you'll see more activity around our counter.
Okay, good. To conclude this, I think I remember around when you were releasing the half year results for the previous year reporting period, I think my discussion with management was that, look, the stock was undervalued by about 50%. So the target was around at 25. But what could you say could be the biggest headwind or the biggest challenge that could maybe hinder you from achieving, your targets for the new strategy?
So I think I didn't answer one question that you asked on the how the analyst, actually the sales side analyst, they give a recommendation on the price, right? And consistently we have spoken about, because this is available in public domain, what we call that is consensus price. Even when share price was low, our consensus price was much higher, because they do the model, you're familiar with that, they do the valuation and they put a target price. And we have, I mean, it's available, you could see that for the longest time, even when share price was low, we never used to have sell recommendation, buy or hold, mostly on buy. Again, we don't influence that. We release our results, we talk about strategy, we talk about future, what we're executing, and they do their own modeling, right? I don't think that have changed. Yeah. Okay, we have to see now, based on the current share price, what's the consensus or how they're updating their model in future. But I cannot comment on that. But I think one thing was very clear. Based on the consensus price, and obviously you see share price was much lower. So that's one part of it, which you actually asked me the question before. Now coming to the headwinds, yeah. So I think the biggest headwinds that they always look for, the investors always look for, where we get a chance to talk to them in person, they always ask questions with macros. Yeah, what's the macro environment? They have their own views, and they also want to understand from the management side of what is the management view of the macro environment, both in Kenya as well as in Ethiopia. So our view, and you have seen this when we released our results, saying if you go to Ethiopia, if you talk about Ethiopia, you could say it's improving. Yeah, be it inflation. Inflation when we entered the market was 30% plus. Current inflation is it's growing, still double digit, 13-14%, but it's better than it was before. There was a big event which happened, the currency reforms, which are market based, the currency determination of rate, which is such a big step, bold step, which government of Ethiopia went ahead. So that is also a risk now coming to fruition in a very positive way, that we always knew that currencies has been an issue. So that's now GDP growth is also coming better in Ethiopia. So you could always say that it's still not there at where it should be, but it's going in the positive direction. That's what we told to our investors on the results day. In Kenya also, I think we could imagine some of the investor sentiments were disrupted or disturbed because of the currency changes that we have seen in Kenya. But currency has been stable for the longest time here, right? One thing the investors, especially the foreign investors, rely a lot on the currency, their view about how the currency will behave. So I would consider that probably the stability also gives them more confidence. Inflation is quite low, although I would say GDP growth, probably their expectation is that it could be even higher than what it is today in Kenya. But overall macros, I think, is one part of it. But that's one big headwind. They always look at this, could this turn around differently so they always do that one part. Second is I think the management ability to execution. That's what they obviously, they're investing, you will always believing in the ability to execute, and that's what you're putting your money. So obviously they will hold us accountable on the execution part of it. The momentum in Ethiopia, will that continue in the way you have seen, we have guided? Will that guidance be met? And therefore, that also becomes one part of their watch out area. I would say, in general, the feedback from what you hear from our investors on, I think Kenya side is more resilient, it's delivered well. I think both on the connectivity side or fixed side or M-PESA, I think have done extremely well. I think if you look at last 15 years, growth in M-PESA has been very, very encouraging, and we are able to demonstrate what we are also going to do in future. Yeah, I would say guidance that you have given need to be executed. Macros, they have a view about macros which has actually improved, and it holds on. I think that those are the areas would be.
Okay, good. Thanks, Dilip.
Thank you
Always
very
a
much.
pleasure. Look forward to the next
Thank you very
discussion.
much, Eric. Thank
Thank
you.
you.